Okay, so Gorath, he's pretty easy. He's mostly, for all intents and purposes, he's tank and spank with just a couple mechanics you have to watch out for. You have to hide behind, or he's going to have infernal spikes coming out of the ground. The infernal spikes are mostly going to go on the range. So as range, you kind of want to stay spread out in the circle area, kind of back a little bit, not too far, because the tanks are going to keep him pretty much in the area he's at right there. And if you're too close to him, he'll destroy the spikes. When the spikes are coming up, the ground underneath you is going to get all crackly, like an earthquake type animation. When that happens, make sure you move aside. Try not to stack up on each other. Stay kind of spread out, because if you stack too close, then the spikes will be like one on top of each other. That's a bad thing, because there is a mechanic where we need to hide behind those spikes. There's also a mechanic where only a single person needs to get behind the spikes. So we want to have the spikes spread out enough that we're not, when that single person goes, they don't accidentally destroy them all. And or when it's time for us to hide, we have someplace to hide. Let's see. He is going to do a couple different things. Wrong tab. As far as the tanks go, do I need to explain the tank mechanic? Or you guys got that, right? So anyways, the tanks know what they need to do. I'm going to assume they didn't answer. That means that was a yes. So the only thing that the DPS has to be aware of, especially the melee, is he's going to cast burning armor on one of the tanks. That tank is going to try to run. But please go the opposite direction of that tank, because you don't want to be standing in his, it's going to make a big circle around him, and you don't want to be standing in that burning armor when it goes off. Another thing that, this is a strictly DPS based thing, is called Crashing Comet. This can happen on anybody. If you get a little green circle around you, you want to run away from other people, and you want to run away from the spikes. You don't want to be close, because if you're close to other people, you do damage. If you're close to a spike, you'll destroy it. Infernal Spike. Shattering Star is another mechanic. What's going to happen, there's going to be a green arrow going from Gorath. Where was I? Shattering Star. So when Shattering Star happens, there's going to be a green arrow. Whoever gets the Shattering Star on them needs to get behind at least minimum one spike, two's preferable. Of course, it's normal, and we have some pretty OP healers, so it probably really doesn't matter as long as you only get one. At least one period. The other mechanic he's going to do is Infernal Burning. When that happens, that's where everybody needs to hide it behind the spikes, including the tanks. Everybody needs to get hide behind the spikes on Infernal Burning. Oh, and on the Shattering Star, what I was saying about the green arrow, the other DPS that does not have it on it, you want to move away from the line of that arrow so that the DPS that does have it is kind of on their own, because as it hits, it will do AoE damage. And that's pretty much it. Any questions? Okay, I was checking to see if my headset was off there. It was so silent. You guys did an excellent job there.
I may have muted my mic.
I did too.
Just to make sure.
Alright, so that's pretty much everything, and I'm going to do a ready check, and it'll be on tanks.
I'll be doing DBM pulls. Alright, here we go.
Murder! Jingle bells, motherfucker.
So I see a couple DPS stacked on top of each other. Hide, everybody, hide. Good job. Hide, everybody, hide. By the way, for you that are not aware, when you're hiding, if you're ranged, you can continue doing DPS on him, just a side note. It goes through this fight.
Yay, World of Warcraft physics. Damn, I always waste one of those.
It's all good.
Lies. Playing with a broken mouse is fun.
Uh-oh.
Broke it.
Hide.
I did.
How?
Dropped it.
On what?
The floor.
Okay.
Now.
Wait, where did you drop it from that it broke?
Exactly.
My pocket.
How did
Don't ask questions you don't want the answers to.
Oh.
I do want the answers though.
Yeah, the answers are far more
We're talking
entertaining.
about the guild perv here, so yeah, you might not want to answer.
Yeah, you might not want to know what's in my pocket.
Uh.
How did you die?
Shattering star, I didn't get behind the things fast enough.
You failed as a gnome.
I fail at everything I do. That's why my main name is Dragontail. Hide, hide, hide.
It's not like we have to go far.
That's why I said we want to kind of stay about mid on the circle because, you know, you got to make those close enough for range. Because any range they get destroyed by him. Or I mean, any that melee get destroyed by him.
Oh!
I charged right as he cast it.
Hey, this is Moonguard. You gotta be careful about what you say about destroying and demons and
Everything keeps touching me!
or comments like that.
But we like to touch you. Oh, you said everything, not us. Okay.
Yeah. I had Shattering Star, I had Fire, I had this guy again with the comment.
Welcome to my world when I'm DPSing.
You'll know I was catching up and then I died.
There we go. Screw you, Goroth.
Good job, guys.
Ooh, I got a new cloak.
Watch me actually get like a necklace. 28 gold.
Oi.
Now,
Harness?
On this
Oh, it's
boss, do you guys just like say in, out for the tanks? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, the two tanks. Usually the best way to do this that helps everybody is the tank switch on the end of the Bonesaw CD. Unless, of course, you know, for some odd reason they build the torment up faster, which technically the only reason that the tanks should be building up, even though they get more torment than anybody, the only way they should be building up torment to where, you know, they can't make it that long is usually if interrupts are being missed.
Right.
or people are not switching between the bosses when they should.
Right, because on the if you see on the left side, at the far on the left, are on tank and a horde, we have one tank there, the other one tank the other guy, and when they switch, and then because one of them goes in, they said tank in, because they sometimes the healers say healer going in, but they usually say healer blah 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 going in, or their class.
Well, yeah, we do that anyways, because people still have to be aware, because not everybody pays attention like they should.
Right. The DPS though, I usually tell the DPS people, don't worry, just go in when you need to, because it's just, you know, waste of breath and all that.
Yeah. The only time we should hear from DPS technically is if they're one of the designated,
Taunters.
actually, let me put it to you this way, Gaming Killer Bot. No offense, but I'm going to explain these fights anyways, and after I'm done, if you have input about the way I'm having it done, then you can talk to me about it. It's easier that way. Then I feel like I'm doing 2 explanations.
Right. Never mind. I thought something and then forgot about it. Brain fart. Level.
Yay, brain farting.
Nice
Actually,
test.
you know,
Thank
it works
you, folks.
better if you do it during Bonesaw, because then you don't even need a tank out.
Well,
Actually, yes you do, because when he's doing Bonesaw, he's going to follow whichever tank he is fixated on, or whoever has the aggro. And if you both are gone during Bonesaw, he's going to take that Bonesaw to the middle of the raid.
right. So what you want to do is you want to keep him far over to the left and have one tank, like where you see the Bonesaw guy. I don't know the name. You want to keep him like a little bit further on the left behind. And when he Bonesaws, you either heroically use your dash, whatever, towards the gate, and then you want to keep doing that. You want to keep kiting him until it's over. So that's how we do it on Horde. But for me, I have to use 3 heroic leaps. Can you? I don't know how to do this fight as DPS because I always main tank on Horde, so I'm kind of noob on DPS.
Oh, well,
Take-
you were explaining so well. I thought you wanted to do the whole explanation.
Take
Oh,
the
okay,
sharp
okay.
end of
So-
your weapon and poke the boss with it.
Okay, so yeah, you can tell me to do that on the floating guy. Okay, yeah, I'm not gonna miss him at all. I'm just gonna keep poking him. But okay, so for tanks, you at the far left, you wanna mark those at the far, like behind the boss. You wanna have them marked there and have them marked by the gate. So when you Bonesaws, you wanna dash. And for tanks, you know, when you have 100 rage, you stay in. Make sure you're switching. You know, like both tanks are gonna be on the boss. One tank's gonna take the guy with the bone saw, whatever, argonate, whatever. And when you say going in, the tank that's gonna go in is gonna go in, and then the tank that's still out wants
Hey,
to tank
gaming?
that guy. Yes.
Gaming, I'm gonna take this over, okay?
All right. I tried.
I honestly, yeah, it was a joke when I said that, so.
Oh, I don't hear jokes half the time.
Alright,
Now you know.
so. Well, on this fight, the way it goes is Atrigan and Belluck share a health pool. For the most part, we're going to be on Belluck. The only time we're going to switch to Atrigan is when Belluck does his Fellfire. I know I just said that wrong. Fell Squall, sorry. So when he does Fell Squall, then we'll stick to Atrigan. Atrigan is going to be the only boss that is tanked. He is going to be tanked on the left side of the room. So basically, that marker that's sitting there in the middle, the DPS wants to stay on the right side of that marker. The left side of the room belongs to the tanks. The reason for this is because even if you're staying in the center circle and stuff, and the tanks are on the left side, the problem is that sometimes, especially during Bonesaw and stuff like that, when he's chasing the tanks, he will come inside of this circle. He tries to shortcut it. He cheats that way. What do you expect from a boss? But anyway, so it's just safer for the DPS to stay on this side. There is going to be Echoing Anguish, which is a debuff. If you get this debuff, you want to run to the outside of this circle, and then you're going to call for one of the you're gonna call for a dispel. I need dispel on so and so, because you don't want to be dispelled in the middle of the group because it'll do damage to everybody.
Owie.
Pangs of Guilt is another thing that Belak does. Pangs of Guilt has got to be interrupted, and we're going to do the interrupts with Wayndre can be 1.
Copy.
Gaming can be 2.
Yes, ma'am.
Tranquil, are you good with doing interrupt?
What's my spell on that? Let me check my thing.
Okay, Galler, are you in here?
Solar beam silences.
No, wait, are you, are you cat or are you, rain?
I am ranged. I
Okay, never
am.
mind. I don't think Rain has
Balance.
the interrupt. Yeah, I don't think Balance gets the interrupt.
Okay.
Galler, are you inside? Or in TeamSpeak?
Discord.
Your Balance? Okay, Edards, are you in here?
Ugh.
No, guess not. Cash, are you in here?
Can try solar beam. It might
Well,
work. It might.
It's not so much that, because I mean we have plenty of range that has definite interrupts. Problem is ranged interrupts are like 24 seconds, compared to melee, which is 15 seconds. So they can usually keep up with it better. So what we're gonna do is chemical on the chemical. You and I are gonna switch out on 3. Okay.
No problem.
All right. So go ahead and take the first 3, and then I'll take the second 3. So, and then we'll, just go back and forth from there. Between the two of us, we should be able to keep that 3 covered. Those of you that are assigned for interrupts, please make sure you're letting people know if you go in the cage, because, yeah, if we're in the cage, someone needs to take over. Especially if either Chemical or I go into the cage, because if, like, I go in when it would have been my interrupt, Chemical probably is not going to be able to cover the interrupt. You know what I mean? Anyway, so that's mostly Balak stuff. Atrigan's pretty simple. When, as I said, Fell Squall, you have to switch to Atrigan. You just beat on Atrigan until he goes into Bonesaw. Actually, I'll probably call the switch just a few seconds before Bonesaw. Go back to Belak, and it's just rinse and repeat from there. The one mechanic, you're going to get a bar added called Torment. You want to keep an eye on your Torment. When you hit about 75 or so, then you want to go inside the cage. This is the thing about that Torment, is as a DPS, you should hardly ever have to go into that cage if you're doing things right. If you're doing the mechanics wrong, your Torment's going to freaking build up fast. The only ones that should be doing a constant switch in that cage is the tanks. So anyways, from there it's just a matter, you're going to get a bot on the Torment, I'm sorry. To get into the cage to clear your Torment, you're going to get a boss button shows up called Confess. When you go inside the cage, you will not have another boss button until you clear your Torment. And you clear your Torment by beating on the mob that's inside the cage, and it'll make little gold balls. And you want to collect those gold balls. So, everybody gets to play with balls. So, it's lots of
I love balls!
Wait. When the balls are up, save at least like 2 for the tanks that are going in and the healers. Because what people do is if they all just grab it, then you're gonna struggle, and then that stuff's gonna happen. Then we're gonna have a wipe. So try to save like 1 or 2. If you see 3, you can grab it, but try to save 1 or 2 for tanks and healers. Because I've seen like people grab them all, and then we just wipe, and then everyone doesn't they think it's the boss fight when it's really the cage that's happened.
Yeah, if you're a healer or a tank if you're just going in there as a tank, if you're just going in there fresh, and anybody else comes in with you, make sure they know you still need to collect. Because that's the thing, is we don't necessarily know if you've already collected them all or not. So if you're not clear while you're in the cage waiting, make sure you let whoever goes in know, hey, I still need some. so you guys can share that shit. And same, you know, same if you're a DPS that goes in with a healer, make sure that healer gets priority. It's kind of difficult inside the cage. It's not perfect, but you know, this is a real communication fight. You know, you don't want to gum up the chat, but at the same time, you do need to communicate. But just make sure you keep your communication very short, very sweet, and then that'll help a lot too.
Remember, only tanks and healers stay in and out.
Also remember, there is going to be a time when the cage is empty. And if that, you know, you need to save your personal CDs for in case that happens. You're only going to be empty for a few seconds. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this fight. 90% of it I got pretty much in order, but I know some of it kind of went out of order, so if anybody's confused, has any questions, please ask me now.
I have a
Clear
question.
them up. What's that?
That debuff that you need dispelled, what does it look like?
It's purple. It's a purple circle around you.
Can we have like,
Okay.
is there like a little area we can make for that debuff, like go to the middle or something?
Just
Or-
run to
We're
the
gonna
outside
be
wall.
taking- Yeah, all the DPS should be inside this circle. Nobody should be standing outside this circle. Everybody, basically this half of the circle on the inside, everybody should be here as far as DPS goes. The only time anybody should be in this part of the circle is for the DPS. That's the whole purpose we saved this part of the circle for. The left side of the whole left side of the circle is for the tanks and Atrigan. The inner part of the right side of the circle is for DPS. The outer right side of the circle is for DPS that needs debuffs.
That debuff only has a 10-yard range when we dispel it, so it's not that big a deal. So just run to the wall, you'll be fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm thinking for heroic, but doesn't he spawn purple stuff, or is that heroic?
That's heroic.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, heroic.
Purple.
Oh, heroic's like learning these fights all over again. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Not really. Most of it, I have to do it.
Yeah, so do I. But yeah, it's like learning the fights all over again. Because
Are we ready yet?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Gonna do a ready chat?
Murder and
Mr.
pillage.
Rauchi?
Well, I don't want to spend 15 minutes sitting in front of the boss.
Oh, just take it out and wiggle it at him. He'll be pissed.
Don't forget to interrupt the guy.
It's just me, or is that going faster than normal?
Switch. Switch back.
Tank switch, tank switch, tank switch.
Dispel Golgothan. Please.
You're already clear, dude.
Oh, why is he over here?
Whoa. I got next interrupt.
Switch. My DBM's off, sorry.
Tank switch.
Yeah, I think mine's off too, because it told me to switch to Atrigan way early.
I know it did me too, and then, yeah.
Get them off.
Switch back.
Someone get it. Alright.
I have to go in.
How do you come back from the cage?
It'll come up in the middle of your screen, same place as the other
Got
button.
it. Thank you.
Interrupt that.
Got it.
Tank switch. Debuff.
Switch.
Thanks.
Switch back. And I have to go in the cage. Chemical has the interrupting for 3.
Yep. Somebody cover 1. I gotta go back in. Or go in. Alright, 1 is back out.
Interrupt that. Someone's on your. Alright.
Tank switch.
Switch. Switch back.
Interrupt that.
Is it me or you, Chemical?
It would be you. Sorry.
Okay.
Interrupt
Dispel on Wayne.
that. Nice job, everyone.
Thanks.
Dispel on Wayne. Somebody.
Oh, why is he over here?
Get the boss, get the boss. Everybody needs
Here.
to switch to him too.
Dispel 1 going in.
Dispel Golgothan.
Going in.
Dispel 1 is back out.
Is it you or me, Chemical?
Tank
I was
switch.
you.
Switch. Five, are you in the cage?
Yes, she is.
Just check. Switch back if you have.
Dispel.
I have to go.
Thanks. Tank switch.
Good job, all.
Oh, only got money.